This
Without mentioning any
codependency.
names, I have been on the receiving end of that. You got any got anything better to do? I mean, come on. Wow.
Renfield, your sole purpose in life is to serve me. Now, let's eat.
Hello, how are you?
Very well. Thanks for the interview.
Well, thank you for your time. So you're really menacing Count Dracula. How fun was it to be such a kind of a horrible boss?
Well, there was some fun to it. Yeah. I mean, it is a comedy. But also there's some vulnerability. I just love that scene in the Renfield studio apartment. That's my favorite scene when Dracula's waiting for him. And in that scene, you see Renfield getting close to almost, like a nervous breakdown because Dracula's really pushing his buttons. And you also see that Dracula is a monster that can get his feelings hurt, and it almost acting like a child in terms of how he's responding to Renfield's betrayal. But this movie, although it is a comedy / horror film with some action adventure thrown in, has heart. And I do think it's touching on a subject that's on a lot of people's minds, especially now, in terms of toxic relationships and that which can go wrong with bosses and employees, and also even in romances where someone decides to take ownership and it's no longer about love, but it devolves into a kind of ugly, toxic, sociopathic situation. This is on people's minds, and it's treated with real compassion. Brandon Jones is a great actor who's in the movie, and he plays the guide in the codependent support group. And there's some little kernels of wisdom there that I think, in between the laughs and the scares, you can use, that can be helpful.
Oh yeah, it was totally relatable. It's, reminding me of something a boss once said to me. He's like, well, where else are you to go? And it's like, that's a little tactic to kind of keep you. So it was like very relatable in those terms, all those words. This
Without mentioning any
codependency.
names, I have been on the receiving end of that. You got anything better to do? I mean, come on. Wow.
It's like, I'm not gonna fall for that one. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it was funny because this reminded me of another horrible boss you played in Vampire's Kiss. So you're not a vampire there, but you think you're a vampire. And it was so funny to think like, hey, he's played a horrible boss, before. It was kind of funny. Did you think about that at all? The Vampire's Kiss?
Oh, Vampire's Kiss was really on my mind, especially in terms of the accent, which is my father, August Coppola, who always spoke with a kind of distinction and a mid-Atlantic accent. And but Vampire's Kiss is a character that is losing his mind in a natural environment. There's nothing supernatural about it, which is pretty tragic, really. But in this character, Dracula, this is an entity that has, when he was human, had love and then lost love. And then because of that unrequited love or loss of love, went bad and made a contract with dark supernatural forces. So they're different kinds of energies, but both are engines that give room to be expressionistic in film performance, whether it be a character who's losing his mind and starts behaving like Max Schreck from an old German expressionistic horror film called Nosferatu, or a genuine supernatural force that has signed a contract with dark forces and can be abstract and do crazy and magical things because of that context.
It's the real Dracula! Some call me the Dark One, others the Lord of Death.
Yeah, you mentioned Nosferatu. Some of your facial movements reminded me of Nosferatu.
Oh, indeed. Yeah, even right behind you, it's got a kind of a Max Schreck Nosferatu vibe. Though we both know that Nosferatu was Count Orlok, and now I'm playing Dracula. But I think any vampire is really telling a story of the human experience, because if you supplant one addiction, if you supplant whiskey or blow or heroin or sex with blood and a bloodlust, that's something people can identify with in the struggles of being a human. And then also unrequited love and going bad, because to me, Dracula was always love in exile, not and exile, in exile, that this is a character who's not getting love back and has made a decision to go bad.
Well, I really enjoyed your performance. Reminded me of the classic black and white Dracula movies I loved watching as a kid with my dad. So I
Me
really
too.
enjoyed your performance.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. It's such a pleasure talking to you.
Nice speaking with you, Lube.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.